All right, today we're going to go on a bit of a world tour, data tour to be exact. We're going to dig into about 10 years of real-world field trials to see how this one agricultural product really stacks up. We'll be going from the fields of Ukraine to farms in Austria and, well, beyond. We're just going to follow the numbers and see what story they tell. So, let's jump right in.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to this one question, doesn't it? If you're in agriculture, this is the whole game. And today, we're going to look at how science is coming up with some pretty profitable answers, all backed by some seriously hard numbers.
So the product at the heart of all this data is called Proto-Humics. Now, yeah, it's a bit of a scientific name, but what it actually does is what's important. It's a certified organic liquid. The easiest way to think of it is like a natural, super concentrated cocktail of humic and fulvic acids. These things are organic powerhouses that basically help a plant's roots grab onto and soak up nutrients from the soil way more efficiently.
And you know, this image really sets the scene perfectly. We're talking about a product that was born in a lab, for sure, but its real test, its true value, is out there in the dirt. So let's get out of the lab and head to the fields.
Our journey kicks off in Ukraine, right in the heart of some of the most fertile farmland on the planet. This is where a lot of the early data came from, building this really solid, credible foundation of results on some of the most essential grain crops out there.
So let's look at the first set of results, way back in 2014 on winter wheat. With just 2.2 liters per hectare, a pretty small amount, the yield jumped by almost 12%. But here's the number that really gets your attention. That translated directly into an extra 140 euros of profit for every single hectare.
Okay, so the very next year, they tried it on a totally different crop, soy. And the results? Even stronger. A 17% yield increase, which meant over 120 euros in extra profit. So you see, this isn't just a fluke. This is the start of a really clear, consistent pattern.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. A couple of years later, we're back to winter wheat. And the performance isn't just reliable, it's actually getting better. The yield increase is now over 16%, which generated a full extra ton of wheat and 210 euros of pure profit per hectare. This is the kind of dependable, year-after-year data that makes people sit up and take notice.
All right, so with that strong foundation in Ukraine, our data tour is officially going global. Now we're about to see how this stuff adapts to totally different countries, different climates, and some very, very high-value crops.
First stop, Austria, and we're looking at a high-value organic crop. Now, the yield increase is a solid 12%, but just look at that additional profit, almost 470 euros per hectare. This just shows you how the product's value can absolutely skyrocket in these specialized premium markets. Okay, you might want to brace yourself for this next one. This is probably the most jaw-dropping piece of data in this entire rundown. We're still in Austria, but this time it's Kariz potatoes. A 44% increase in yield. That meant an extra 11 tons per hectare. But the profit number? It's hard to even believe. Over 18,000 euros in additional profit. Let's just pause on that number for a second. 18,095 euros. That's the extra money from one single hectare. That's not just an improvement, that's a complete game changer. It just shows the insane potential when the right product hits the right crop in the right conditions.
So, does it work in a totally different environment? Let's go to Barbados. We're talking a tropical climate with sugarcane, and yep, the results are just as impressive. Almost a 29% increase in total weight, which, and this is the important part, meant an extra 2 tons of pure sugar per hectare. That adds up to 430 euros in profit. This proves it's versatile way beyond the European continent.
And just in case you're thinking, well, that was all years ago, here's a much more recent trial from Romania in 2023 on sunflowers. Nearly a 10% bump in yield, which gave them an extra 125 euros per hectare. The pattern is just undeniable at this point. Consistent, profitable results across different crops, different continents, and different years.
Now, right when you think you've got the story figured out that, okay, this is a product for plants, the data takes this sharp, really unexpected turn. We're about to look at some applications that go way, way beyond your traditional planted field.
And here it is, the biggest surprise of our entire tour. Broiler chickens. In Austria. Turns out, when you add Proto-Humics to their drinking water, you get heavier chickens that ate over 11% less feed. So for a farm with, say, 10,000 chickens, this boosted their profit margin by 672 euros for that single herd. It's a totally different application, but the goal is exactly the same. Better efficiency, more profit.
So the big question is, how on earth does that work? Well, this slide breaks it all down. It led to better feed conversion, which is huge, but also lower mortality rates, less time to get to market, and they even drank less water. Every single one of these things feeds directly into a more efficient and, of course, a more profitable farm.
And the surprises just keep on coming. Check this out, a 2024 trial on outdoor cannabis in the Mediterranean. So not only did it help produce yields that were above the genetic average, even in extreme heat, but here's the kicker, it let the growers cut their NPK fertilizer use by 50%, by half.
And that right there, that's the key takeaway for so many farmers today. It's not just about getting more out of your crop, it's about putting less in. I mean, getting bigger yields while at the same time slashing your input costs like fertilizer, that's basically the holy grail for sustainable, profitable farming.
So after a tour that's taken us all the way from Ukrainian wheat fields to Austrian poultry farms, what's the bottom line? Let's take all this data and boil it down to a final, really clear verdict. You know, when you put it all together, the picture that emerges is crystal clear. We've seen yields go up consistently. We've seen a proven, and sometimes absolutely spectacular, return on investment. It has an incredibly wide range of uses, from staple crops to livestock. It works in all kinds of climates, and maybe most importantly, it offers this huge potential to cut down on expensive inputs. Look, the data from the last decade really speaks for itself. All the evidence is right here on the table, which leaves just one final question for anyone watching. What could this kind of efficiency and this kind of return, what could it mean for your yield?